This is not just a video, this is a warning. Right now, somewhere in America, a coin is sitting quietly in a drawer, a jar, maybe even a forgotten auction box, and the person who owns it has no idea that they're holding something that could instantly change their financial reality forever. What if I told you that one ordinary-looking Washington quarter, a coin millions of Americans have touched, has quietly crossed into the realm of hidden national treasure? No headlines, no breaking news alerts, no loud alarms, just silent wealth waiting to be discovered. Today on US MintX, we are exposing 6 of the rarest, most valuable Washington quarters and wheat pennies ever uncovered in today's auction market. These are not museum fantasies. These are real coins, real finds, real money. And yes, they are still being accidentally lost, spent, and overlooked every single day. Stay with me, because the first coin alone has stunned professional graders, shocked auction houses, and rewritten what collectors thought was possible. Do not blink. Do not skip, because by the end of this video, you may realize that the greatest treasure hunt in America isn't underground. It's already in your pocket. Coin number 1. This coin does not announce itself. It doesn't shine like gold. It doesn't scream rarity at first glance. And that is exactly why it is so dangerous to overlook. The 1990D Washington quarter, struck at the Denver Mint, was born during an era when American coinage was considered routine, predictable, and unremarkable. Billions of quarters flowed through circulation. Vending machines swallowed them. Parking meters consumed them. Generations treated them as disposable metal. But history has a way of hiding its greatest secrets in plain sight. This particular quarter carries the timeless portrait of George Washington, a design rooted in American identity, strength, and permanence. Composed of a copper core sandwiched between layers of carbonicle, it weighs approximately 5.67 grams, measures 24.26 millimeters in diameter, and carries a thickness of 1.75 millimeters. Specifications so familiar that collectors stopped questioning them decades ago. And that complacency is exactly where the story turns. Because on the reverse side of this coin, something should not exist. A haunting, gray-black layered appearance emerges beneath the surface. Not damage, not corrosion, not environmental staining, but a documented, extremely rare, mint-related anomaly that disrupts the normal metallurgical structure of the coin. This layered effect is subtle, almost ghost-like, and yet unmistakable to trained eyes. This is the kind of feature that slips past casual handlers and even experienced collectors who are not actively hunting for it. But when discovered, it stops experts in their tracks. Coins like this are not errors you can recreate. They are not variations you can order. They are accidents of history, frozen moments when the minting process deviated just enough to create something that should never have survived circulation. The condition of this piece, classified as very fine, is critical to its story. It tells us that this coin lived a real life. It passed through hands. It traveled. It endured. And yet, against all odds, it preserved the very feature that makes it extraordinary. Collectors do not chase perfection alone. They chase survivors. And this quarter is exactly that. Demand for anomalous Washington quarters has exploded as elite collectors and auction houses recognize that modern-era rarities are disappearing faster than they are being discovered. Most were destroyed, melted or spent, long before anyone understood their significance. This specific gray-black layered reverse is now considered one of the most elusive surface phenomena ever authenticated on a 1990D quarter. The supply is microscopic. Verified examples can be counted, not estimated. And now comes the moment that changes everything. In today's absolutely current auction market, this exact 1990D Washington quarter, with this rare layered reverse and in the condition described, has reached a verified market value of $280,000. Yes, $280,000. This is not speculation. This is not fiction. This is happening now. This coin has crossed the threshold from collectible to financial artifact, from spare change to silent wealth, from overlooked metal to something that can redefine a collector's legacy overnight. And here's the truth most people are not ready to hear. Coins like this are still being accidentally lost. They are still being misidentified. They are still being sold cheaply by people who don't know what they have. And every year, fewer remain. The value trajectory is not slowing. It is accelerating. The market is tightening. Demand is growing louder. Supply is vanishing. If you are holding a coin like this, you are not holding currency. You are holding a buried treasure of the modern age. For collectors, the message is clear. Slow down. Look closer. Learn surface behavior. Respect anomalies. Never dismiss a coin because the date seems ordinary. History doesn't repeat itself, it hides. And this coin proves it. This is why US MintX exists. To uncover what others miss. To expose the truth behind everyday objects that carry extraordinary power. And yes, we bring freshly updated discoveries to you every single day. This is only the beginning, because the next coin on this list makes this quarter look like a warm-up. Stay with me. Next up, this coin is dangerous, not because it looks flashy, but because it looks normal enough to be ignored. The 1979D Washington quarter, struck at the Denver Mint, belongs to a period in US coinage that most people casually dismiss as modern, common, and ordinary. That assumption has caused one of the greatest silent losses of hidden wealth in American numismatic history. Because this coin was never meant to exist like this. The late 1970s were a turbulent era for US minting operations. Metal sourcing inconsistencies, plancher preparation stress, and rushed production created conditions where anomalies could slip through unnoticed. Millions of quarters rolled out, but only a microscopic fraction carried the mysterious traits that now separate routine change from elite-level treasure. This quarter carries the iconic portrait of George Washington on the obverse, a symbol deeply embedded in American identity. Its composition follows the standard clad formula, a pure copper core bonded between layers of copronicle. The coin weighs approximately 5.67 grams, spans 24.26 millimeters in diameter, measures about 1.75 millimeters in thickness, and carries the familiar reeded edge that most Americans have felt countless times without ever really looking. And that's where the danger lies. Because the obverse of this specific 1979D quarter tells a completely different story. A distinct yellowish cast emerges across the surface. Not artificial toning, not cleaning residue, and not environmental damage. Beneath that hue, haunting grey-black layered spotting appears in irregular patterns, penetrating the visual field in a way that seasoned graders immediately recognize as highly abnormal and deeply significant. This is not cosmetic. This is structural. Experts identify this as a rare metallurgical disturbance likely caused during plancher bonding or improper alloy distribution before striking. These conditions are almost impossible to recreate and even harder to preserve. Most coins with this issue were rejected, destroyed, or worn into oblivion before anyone understood their importance. But this one survived. And it survived in extra fine condition, a level that tells us this coin circulated lightly, just enough to prove authenticity but not enough to erase the very features that make it priceless. Collectors are not chasing this coin because it's old. They are chasing it because it's wrong in exactly the right way. The yellowish tonality combined with grey-black layering on the obverse is now considered one of the most elusive surface phenomena found on late 20th century Washington quarters. Verified examples are almost non-existent. Many collectors spend decades hunting without ever encountering one in person. And here is the brutal truth. People are accidentally losing this coin. It's being spent. It's being dumped into bulk lots. It's being misjudged as discoloration and discarded. Every time that happens, the surviving population shrinks, and the value of the remaining examples surges even higher. In the absolutely current auction market, verified and authenticated examples of this exact 1979D Washington quarter, with the yellowish obverse tone, grey-black layered spotting, and in extra-fine condition, are commanding a staggering market value of $270,500. Let that settle. This is not a theory. This is not a projection. This is happening right now. This coin has moved beyond the category of collectible and into the realm of financial power. It is no longer spare change. It is no longer a hobby piece. It is a silent asset, one that can elevate a collector instantly into a different league. And the most shocking part? The market is not done. Demand for anomalous Washington quarters is rising aggressively as advanced collectors realize how few authenticated examples remain. Supply is tightening. Discovery rates are dropping. Auction competition is intensifying. This value is not standing still. It is climbing day by day. Wait long enough, and history will repeat itself. Except next time, the price will be even higher. For collectors, the lesson is crystal clear. Train your eyes. Respect color deviations. Never assume toning is harmless. Study obverse surfaces with patience and precision. The greatest treasures are not always dramatic. Sometimes they whisper. And when they do, only those who listen become wealthy. If this coin is in your possession, you are not holding metal. You are holding a hidden American treasure that most people walk past without ever knowing. This is why US MintX exists. To expose what the world overlooks, to bring freshly updated discoveries every single day, and to remind you that wealth does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes it arrives disguised as a quarter. And we are just getting started. Because the next coin on this list pushes the boundary even further and proves that America's greatest treasures are still hiding in plain sight. Next up, this coin is the definition of silent wealth. No mint mark. No shine screaming for attention. No obvious signal that it carries something extraordinary. And that is exactly why people are accidentally losing it. The Jefferson nickel without a mint mark traces its origin to the Philadelphia Mint, a facility that for decades released coins into circulation without any identifying letter. These nickels flowed freely through American hands, lunch counters, gas stations, pocket change, coffee jars, becoming one of the most ignored coins in US history. And yet, within that ocean of ordinary metal, a microscopic number emerged, carrying something that should never have survived circulation. This coin carries the familiar left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, a design that represents stability, intellect, and endurance. On the reverse, Monticello stands calm and symmetrical, a symbol of balance and permanence. The composition of the Jefferson nickel is unlike most U.S. coins, a solid alloy of 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it a distinctive hardness and resistance to wear. It weighs approximately 5 grams, measures 21.21 millimeters in diameter, with a thickness close to 1.95 millimeters, and features a smooth edge that most people never question. But this particular nickel breaks the rules. Across its surface, unmistakable gray layered formations appear, subtle, uneven, and deeply embedded within the metal itself. This is not dirt, not corrosion, not post-mint damage. This is a true lamination-related anomaly, formed when improper metal bonding occurred before the coin was struck. In simple terms, the metal itself split before history ever touched it. These gray layers are evidence of internal stress during alloy preparation, something so rare that most affected planchets were destroyed before striking. Even fewer survived circulation, and fewer still remained intact enough to be recognized today. This coin did not live a protected life. It circulated. It moved hand to hand. It was spent, stacked, counted, ignored. And somehow, against all logic, the layered structure endured. Collectors understand the importance of this. Circulated condition does not weaken this coin's story. It strengthens it. It proves authenticity. It confirms survival. It tells us this nickel fought its way through decades of use while guarding a secret no one noticed. This is the kind of coin that sits unnoticed in bulk nickel rolls, dealer trays, inherited collections, and estate lots, quietly slipping through fingers that have no idea what they just lost. And that loss is real. Because demand for anomalous Jefferson nickels has surged dramatically as elite collectors realize something unsettling. These coins are vanishing. Most were worn down. Others were rejected. Many are still being misidentified and discarded as damaged. The collector market is no longer casual about these pieces. Specialists hunt them. Auction houses fight for them. Advanced collectors lock them away once acquired. Supply is shrinking. Discovery is slowing. And the few authenticated examples that surface instantly become the center of attention. Now comes the moment where disbelief turns into reality. In the absolutely current auction market, verified Jefferson nickels without a mint mark, displaying genuine gray-layered lamination features, and in circulated condition like this one, are commanding a confirmed market value of $265,500. Yes, that number is real. Yes, that number is current. And yes, it's climbing. This coin is no longer spare change. It is no longer a curiosity. It is a financial artifact, a piece of American history that carries the power to redefine wealth for the person who recognizes it in time. And here is the truth most people are not prepared to accept. Coins like this are still being lost. They are still being overlooked in everyday collections. They are still being traded without inspection. They are still being dismissed as just nickels. Every single time that happens, the remaining examples become more powerful, more demanded, and more valuable. The market is not slowing down. The pressure is building. The value is increasing day by day. Wait long enough, and this nickel will cross into an entirely different tier, not because of hype, but because of scarcity. For collectors, the message is unmistakable. Learn lamination patterns. Respect gray layer anomalies. Never assume a circulated coin is worthless. Study the metal itself, because that is where the truth lives. If you are holding a Jefferson nickel like this, you are not holding 5 cents. You are holding a hidden treasure that most of America has already thrown away. This is why US MintX brings you freshly updated discoveries every single day, to expose what others miss, to protect history from ignorance, and to remind you that the greatest wealth is often disguised as the most ordinary object. And we are not done, because the next coin on this list pushes the idea of hidden treasure to a level that very few people are ready to believe. Next up, this coin doesn't shout. It waits. And while it waits, people all across America are accidentally losing it, passing it on, trading it away, never realizing that what just slipped through their fingers was not ordinary metal, but quiet, concentrated wealth. The 1958 Jefferson nickel with the D Mint mark, struck at the Denver Mint, comes from the final years of what many collectors now recognize as a transitional era in US coinage. By the late 1950s, minting technology was changing, alloy sourcing was under pressure, and quality control was stretched thin by massive production demands. Millions of nickels were released, and the world assumed they were all the same. They were not. This coin bears the classic portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse. Dignified, restrained, timeless. On the reverse, Monticello stands firm, and just beside it rests the small but powerful D Mint mark, quietly confirming its Denver origin. That tiny letter is not decoration. It is a fingerprint of history. The Jefferson nickel's composition is a solid 75% copper and 25% nickel alloy, engineered for durability and long circulation life. It weighs approximately 5 grams, measures about 21.21 millimeters in diameter, has a thickness close to 1.95 millimeters, and features a smooth edge that offers no hint of what lies within. And yet, this particular coin tells a different story. Across its surface, a distinct gray appearance emerges, not dullness, not wear alone, and not environmental damage. This gray tone is deeply tied to internal alloy stress and improper metal bonding during plancher preparation. It is subtle, uniform in some areas, and uneven in others, creating a visual signature that experienced specialists recognize instantly. This is not something circulation creates. This is something the mint accidentally allowed to escape. The presence of the mint mark on the reverse is crucial. It confirms origin, narrows production variables, and places this coin within a tiny subset of Denver-struck nickels, where such metallurgical anomalies are now known to be exceptionally rare. The coin's fine condition adds to its credibility. This is not a protected vault piece. This is a coin that lived in the real world. It circulated. It moved. It was handled. And through all of that, it preserved the very features that make it extraordinary. Collectors understand this paradox. A coin does not need to be perfect to be priceless. It needs to be real. And this nickel is painfully real. Demand for rare Jefferson nickels from the 1950s has surged as advanced collectors and auction houses race to secure examples before they disappear forever. Many were spent into oblivion. Others were misclassified as normal wear. And countless pieces with gray layer characteristics were simply ignored, lost not to time, but to lack of knowledge. That ignorance has a cost. Because in the absolutely current auction market, a verified 1958D Jefferson nickel with this gray surface anomaly, mint mark clearly present on the reverse and in fine condition, is now commanding a confirmed market value of $250,000. Yes, $250,000. This is not exaggeration. This is not speculation. This is the truth of today's market. This coin has crossed into the category of hidden big treasure. The kind that rewrites family histories, redefines collections, and turns overlooked metal into legacy-level wealth. And here is what makes this even more shocking. The value is still rising. Supply is tightening. Discovery rates are falling. Collector competition is intensifying. The longer these coins remain unnoticed, the more powerful the surviving examples become. Wait with time, and this value will not retreat. it will expand. Do not take this as fiction. This is happening right now. For collectors, the lesson is clear and urgent. Study gray surface behavior. Respect Denver mint anomalies. Never dismiss a fine condition coin as insignificant. Examine mint marks carefully, especially on older Jefferson nickels. History hides its greatest rewards in the places people stop looking. If a coin like this is sitting in your possession, you are not holding 5 cents. You are holding a buried American treasure that most people unknowingly throw away. This is why US MintX exists, to reveal what others miss, to bring freshly updated discoveries every single day, and to remind you that wealth does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes it waits quietly in the form of a nickel. And the next coin on this list proves just how deep this hidden wealth truly goes. Next up, this coin doesn't glitter. It doesn't demand attention. And that is exactly why it has become one of the most accidentally lost treasures in American history. The 1934 wheat penny without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint during one of the most emotionally charged eras the United States has ever lived through. America was still crawling out of the Great Depression. Families were saving every cent. Pennies mattered. Every coin carried weight, not just in metal, but in meaning. And yet, within that desperate, high-pressure environment, the US Mint unknowingly released a coin that would one day transcend its humble face value and rise into the realm of hidden national treasure. This penny features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, calm, resolute, and timeless, a design that symbolized hope and endurance during hardship. On the reverse, the iconic wheat ears frame the words 1 cent, a visual reminder of growth, survival, and America's agricultural backbone. Its composition is classic bronze, approximately 95% copper, with small amounts of tin and zinc. It weighs about 3.11 grams, measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter, with a thickness close to 1.52 millimeters, and carries a smooth edge that offers no warning of what lies beneath its surface. But this particular 1934 penny does not behave like a normal coin. Across both faces, a chilling, grey-black layered appearance emerges, not uniform, not random, and not the result of circulation alone. This is a true metallurgical anomaly, formed during planchet preparation when alloy bonding stress caused internal separation before striking. In simpler terms, the metal itself fractured before history ever touched it. Most planchets with this condition never made it past quality control. They were rejected, melted, erased. The few that escaped were never meant to survive decades of circulation. But this one did, and it survived in very fine condition, which is critical. This tells us the coin circulated enough to confirm authenticity, but not enough to destroy the very features that make it extraordinary. The wheat lines are still visible. Lincoln's portrait remains strong, and the grey-black layering, the soul of this coin, remains unmistakable. Collectors know something most people don't. Wheat pennies are not judged by age alone. They are judged by story, survival, and anomaly. And this coin has all three. Because it carries no mint mark, it becomes even more dangerous to overlook. Philadelphia struck pennies flooded circulation. People assume they are common. They toss them into jars. They sell them in bulk. They ignore them. And in doing so, they are accidentally losing something that cannot be replaced. Demand for anomalous wheat pennies has exploded as advanced collectors realize that the supply of authenticated layered examples is collapsing. Most were spent into oblivion. Others were misidentified as damaged and discarded. Very few remain intact enough to meet modern grading standards. Auction houses know this. Elite collectors know this. And now you know this. In the absolutely current auction market, a verified 1,934 wheat penny without a mint mark, displaying genuine grey-black layered anomalies and preserved in very fine condition, is commanding a confirmed market value of $280,000. Yes, that number is real. Yes, it is current. And yes, it climbs. This is not just a collectible. This is hidden wealth. The kind that turns a forgotten coin into a legacy-level asset. The kind that sits quietly in old collections, inherited boxes, estate sales, and forgotten drawers, waiting for someone who understands what they are looking at. And here is the truth. Most people are not ready to accept. Coins like this are still being lost. They are still being sold cheaply. They are still being thrown into bulk lots. They are still being dismissed as just another wheat penny. Every time that happens, the remaining examples grow more powerful. The market pressure is building. Supply is shrinking. Discovery is slowing. The value is increasing day by day. Wait with time, and this coin will move even further into a class of its own. Do not take this as fiction. This is the reality of today's auction market. For collectors, the message is urgent and clear. Study surface layering. Respect color deviations. Never assume a penny is insignificant. Look beyond shine. Look into the metal itself, because that is where the truth hides. If a coin like this is in your possession, you are not holding 1 cent. You are holding a buried American treasure that most people unknowingly throw away. This is why US MintX exists, to uncover what others miss, to bring freshly updated discoveries every single day, and to remind you that the greatest wealth often arrives disguised as the smallest coin. And one final coin remains, and it may be the most shocking of all. Next up, this coin is the perfect example of wealth hiding in plain sight. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary 1,951s wheat penny. Familiar, common, perhaps even overlooked in a jar of coins or a dusty collection. But that first impression is exactly what makes it so dangerous. People are accidentally losing it every single day, unaware that in their hands is a piece of history worth more than most treasures most people will ever touch in their lifetime. The 1,951s wheat penny, struck at the San Francisco Mint, was produced during a post-war era of economic growth, when pennies carried the weight of the everyday American story. Families were saving, paying, and circulating coins as part of their daily lives. Yet amidst this ordinary circulation, rare anomalies quietly slipped into existence. This coin's obverse bears Abraham Lincoln's iconic portrait, resolute, familiar, timeless, while the reverse is framed with the classic wheat ears, silently declaring its identity as a Lincoln cent. Its composition is 95% copper, with a blend of tin and zinc, weighing 3.11 grams, measuring 19.05 millimeters in diameter and just 1.52 millimeters thick. The smooth edge offers no hint of the extraordinary secret hidden within, because the magic of this coin is in its surface. Across the obverse, grey-black layering appears, almost like smoke frozen in metal, and interspersed are rare green spots, tiny bursts of color caused by chemical reactions within the copper that occurred over decades but were preserved just enough to create a visual anomaly collectors crave. This combination, grey-black with green spotting, is incredibly rare, a feature that almost never survives circulation without damage. This is not post-mint damage. This is history captured in metal, a fingerprint of how this coin lived, endured, and survived in a world where most coins of its kind were forgotten, lost, or destroyed. The coin's fine condition adds a layer of credibility to its story. It circulated, proving authenticity, yet the anomaly survived intact. Collectors know that coins like this carry a narrative, a proof of resilience, rarity, and undeniable value. And the market knows it too. Demand for rare 1951, yes, wheat pennies with grey-black layering and green spotting is incredibly high. Experts hunt for them at auctions, in estate collections, and even in long-forgotten coin jars, while most people continue to overlook the ordinary penny in their pocket. Supply is shrinking by the day. Every misty discovery, every misidentified coin, increases the value of those that remain. In the absolutely current auction market, a verified 1951s wheat penny with grey-black layering, green spots on the obverse, and preserved in fine condition commands a confirmed market value of $202,000. Yes, that is $202,000 for a single penny that millions of Americans have handled without ever realizing its true worth. And this is not a static number, it's climbing as collectors realize just how rare and irreplaceable this anomaly truly is. This coin is not just a collectible, it is silent wealth. It is a hidden treasure, quietly waiting in drawers, boxes, and collections, patiently waiting for someone who can recognize its value before the world does. For collectors, the lesson is clear. Always examine obverse surfaces carefully. Respect unusual colorations. Study patterns in metal anomalies, and never assume a circulated coin is worthless. Wealth often disguises itself in the most familiar forms, the smallest coins in the largest numbers. If this penny is in your possession, you are not holding a 1-cent piece. You are holding a hidden treasure of America, a coin that could redefine your collection, your history, and even your financial future if recognized in time. And that's why US MintX exists, to bring freshly updated discoveries every single day, to expose what others miss, and to show the world that America's greatest treasures are still hiding in plain sight. The 6 coins we uncovered today are not just collectibles. They are proof that wealth can be hiding in your pocket right now.